Hello, here in the UK, with limited access to projectile weapons or things we can use for pest control, these are the two methods I use to deal with garden pests. I'm just going to quickly show you what I use to deal with garden pests, and this is garden pests here in the UK. It's the 2.2 air rifle, and it's of the legal power limit. I also use what is a Strike 9 Catapult. I think most of us young men have used them at some point, and I've always had one tucked away in a cupboard, and I've used it successfully hunting all manner of game and well, shall I say legal quarry, and I've used an air rifle in that same manner. I've also used varying shotguns, 12 gauge, 410, and in my other shall we say role for employment, I did use rifles of all calibers and varying different types and pistols, so I'm acquainted with firearms and safety. I no longer am in that role, and I no longer have access to those, and I no longer, shall we say, have shotguns or the license to keep them, because I no longer hunt with them, and I no longer have the requirement for them. I solely have the air rifle and Catapult, quite simply, or Slingshot, simply for garden pest control. As you can see by the photograph at the beginning of this, shall we say, video, it has one main role, and that is simply the furry friends, aka the humble rat. So the air rifle in question is a Webley, and it's of the 2.2 caliber. I was quite surprised because Webley back in my day was a British owned company, and we've got a cat joining us. British owned company, well, through and through. I was quite surprised to find out, even though there was Union Jacks all over the box, it was from Turkey and manufactured there. Although, having said that, it is pleasingly of a good quality. The plastic is nothing, of the stock is nothing to write home about, but it's not brittle and of too bad a quality. The metalwork and bluing isn't too bad. It's the Webley VMX model. It says power lock inside. I'm not too acquainted with the mechanics of this one, because like I said, I no longer take hunting as a serious pursuit, and this is basically just for back garden pest control. It came with an AGS scope of the power magnification, if I can get it out. I think it's... does it say? Nope, I don't think it does. It's not a huge... hang on a minute, I believe it's on the scope this end. It says... what does that... AGS 3/9 times 40, and then it's got 35 yards at the end, if that means anything to you guys. But anyway, it's just enough for me to do the job in its role in the garden. It's not too heavy, and it does the job. It was something like £120 boxed with the scope, so it full of money. You're not getting quality of the standard of any of the mainstream, should we say, airgun makers, or particularly the German models that I used to have as a younger man. But this will do the job for what I require it, and I recommend it for anybody who's going to use it in the same role as I am. And like I said, it's 2.2 caliber, so it will thump a rat over quite efficiently in the distance that you require it to operate in a garden environment. This is the humble Strike 9 Catapult by Barnett, I believe. I can't remember now. I think it's putting out something like close to 200 feet a second, which is not as powerful as the band or flat band models that are out these days, but it's still enough for me to roll a rat over. I've taken all manner of small eagle quarry with it. It's 10mm steel shot. As you can see, I've got a few rusty ones there that I've salvaged from cans that I've been knocking around the garden for practice. I'm reasonably proficient with it, although due to the passage of time, getting older and eyesight and that, I don't have the eye that I used to have, but I'm still able to take, shall we say, rats with it at close quarters. Do I rate it? I won't move away from it, but that's just simply myself, even though there is a die-hard group of people like myself who still use bands. They do have a longer life than flat bands themselves, but flat banded catapults are, I should say, pretty much 85% of the catapult range these days, and they do claim, and I can believe it probably, that they can put an extra 20 to 30 feet per second, or even possibly more, I don't know, on a projectile, or shall we say a shot coming out. It could be up into like 230, 240 feet per second. And I believe these are pushing out, by what I've read, around about the 200. So that's a substantial power increase going over to flats. But hey, I'm used to this, and this is what I'm using. With the catapult, I'm going to be shooting from here, and I'm going to be shooting in a direct line, not far from probably 30 feet, and I'll just walk you down there. I'll have to go around the clothesline, and I shall be shooting down here. Yes, that is a monster can. I only have one every whipping trip, so I'm not an unhealthy freak like that. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be shooting. I'll set my camera as close as I dare trust it, and we'll see what it can do from where I've just shown you I'm going to shoot from. Right, there's the can. I'm going to walk back, and I've got the catapult, and I'm going to try and hit that can. Yeah, like I said, it's about 30 feet, so we'll give this a go. 10mm steel shot, if I can get that clearly in view. I'll get one in my fingers. There you go. Sizable piece of steel coming down range. So we'll see what that does. Just bear with me. Right then, that's about as accurate as I really would like to take anything live. I know you're going to say the air rifle, I can push that back a fair way beyond that, and you're correct, and this is where the main difference will come into it for me. Yes, look, you can see clearly a nice big hole there, and it is blown the can out quite sizably. I did aim from the hole. I aimed possibly where my thumb is there, so that's a drop off to get that hole there at 30 feet, and you wouldn't expect that with the a .22 caliber air rifle at 30 feet to have to drop that much, not in my shall we say thought pattern anyway. But yes, I was aiming, possibly an inch above that for it to drop into there, but I'm pleased with that. And as you can see, I could quite happily hit a rat, and but the issue is with my garden, it means a lot of sneaking around to get to that position. don't get me wrong, I have taken rats and that because they get quite comfortable. They're a creature, and you know, they become used to situations. And yeah, as you can see, filled with water, passed straight through. A 10mm steel, that's going to ruin your day if you're a rat. So you can deduce from that a catapult. If you're not aware of what a catapult will do, it can be a substitute for an air rifle if you're in close quarters to your target. But it does take a lot of skill and practice to get to the point you're accurate with it. And I'm not stating that I am accurate and, you know, compared to some of the shooters that are out there with catapults. I'm just saying I'm at a point where I can hit a rat at sort of say 30 feet and be confident I can do this damage with it. And if I'm closer, obviously if I can get closer, I'm not just confident, I know I will roll one over every time. I've replaced the can and I'm going to bring it into like 20 meters with the remaining steel shot, and I'm going to see how I can bash this can around a little. I did have one miss there, a bit low. You can see what that's done to the wood. That is really smashed in that wood there. So yes, we'll leave this here with the catapult because we can quite evidently see that it will be effective against the humble rat in a pest control situation within your garden, if you become proficiently accurate with it. I know what you're probably thinking. I said I could hit it every time. There you go. That's why you practice. I've set another can up. I'm using a 2-2 pointed pellet, and I've now got the air rifle. I'm going to go back and shoot this can and just see what it does in relation to what we've just seen the catapult do. So if you'll just have to bear with me while I walk back, and I'll have a quick shot at this can. Well, that was quite evident. Ironically, it's a smaller hole going in, but it hit the centre of mass, and as it came out, it did actually split the whole can open there, and they were both filled with water. So I'm not a ballistics expert, but this clearly shows just a 2-2 legal limit air rifle. It's more than capable of delivering enough energy to kill a rat. So as you can see, I'm confident with both measures, and I feel confident that they will both do the job. So I'm, you know, always happy to deploy the catapult or air rifle against a rodent. As before, I'm just going to put a couple extra shots into the can from a bit closer, just to knock the can around. Obviously I'm using a scope, and I don't usually shoot at around about this distance with the air rifle, because I usually use this one if I'm reaching from the top of the garden down to the bottom, but we'll give it a go. yet again it's hitting and providing clean holes. This time they're penetrating right through. There's no water to cause, shall we say, to get a build up of pressure to explode out. Yeah, I'm extremely confident. It's gone through there on one occasion and come out the harder top of it as well. So I'm very confident in what I say. A UK legal air rifle can dispatch a rat, and nobody should be alarmed that somebody is using one for that purpose of pest control, because it's evident it has enough power to do it cleanly and dispatch the rodent without any undue or unnecessary suffering. Hello, that wasn't a comparison. I was just basically showing you the air gun and slingshot catapult method I use when I'm targeting pest species in my garden. I follow all the rules and regulations stated by the law that I have to, and on top of that I had a backstop, which is a hedge, and I ensure no shot or pellet leaves the confines of my property. You will have to check out your own rules and regulations about the use of air guns, indeed any projectile weapon or the use of any such item in your own garden. Always check out the rules within your country, region, and indeed local authority regarding the use of, and on top of that, what you can target as a species. So yeah, always think safety, and as I've just alluded to, that's always my number one concern. But you've just seen that both those methods are viable against the humble rat, and I do deploy them. But I have to be honest, it's very rare that I do get to take one, but I do have those methods at my disposal if I do need to use them. So yeah, this is Andy, and I'll catch you again. All the best.